And we are live. With DCM, we're going to talk about yellow root, some natural remedies. Most important is prayer. How you doing tonight, D?
I'm good. How are you?
Tolerable.
Can't be better than tolerable.
I've been playing in the rain all day trying to get my garden done, which I almost got it done, but then the sky opened up on me.
I'd like to do mine. It's too hot out there. Too many ticks. Boy, there are a lot of ticks this year. Good grief.
Oh, they're horrible.
It's too hot out there.
All right. I think I got everything going now.
I'm echoing.
I had my volume up. I got it. It's down now. I got it all fixed. I don't know if anybody's in here yet. Hello, Jenny.
All right.
But anyway, what we was wanting to do was talk about yellow root. And Dee knows a lot more about this stuff than I do. I know what it looks like, and I know how to dig stuff out of the ground. But I had a friend that had brain cancer, and he was given 8 to 10 months to live. He went through the chemo. They, did 2 or 3 surgeries on him. The cancer kept coming back. What's the other thing? Not chemo, but the radiation. Is that the chemo? I also don't know a whole lot about cancer. I've been blessed, and I don't think anybody in my family's ever had anything like that. But anyway, he was a good friend. He had, faith in the Lord and everything. Well, his daddy would go out. He was an outdoorsman. He collected, he'd go out and dig roots, mushrooms. He showed me a lot on what I know about getting mushrooms, antlers, all that. But my friend started doing research on the yellow root, that they give him a death sentence. They told him you've got less than a year to live. So he started taking the yellow root. He started out with tea, then he started making it in powder form. And he went in 3 or 4 months later for a checkup just to see, the growth rate or whatever. And the cancer was totally gone.
Yeah.
And all he did different was take the yellow root.
Yeah, I don't doubt it at all. So that's what I'm doing with the first. That's what I was doing with the first batch that you gave me. I made some into tea bags because I have the tea bags because I make my own tea with some of the herbs that I collect. I dry them out, and then I put them in containers, and then I'll make teas. My husband has asthma, so I'll use the mullein or some of the other stuff to make him a tea out of it. And golden seal is one of them, but he doesn't like it because of the way it tastes. So I crush them up, and I have a mortar and pestle. Because I have basically a apothecary at my house, and I'll go ahead and crush it up and put it in little capsules. I have these vegetarian capsules, and I just have him take them, and he'll take those, once in a while, and that's what I was talking to you about before we got on here. The biggest issue with some of these things that we do, the natural stuff, is people don't follow through on them. They'll take them for a while and they'll say, well, that didn't work. But, you didn't get the disease overnight. You're not going to get rid of it overnight. In some instances, your body is not able to chelate, is what they call it, chelation. It's where your body absorbs, the nutrients that you get. So if your liver is bad or your kidneys aren't working right, all these things work together. So when you talk to somebody about natural stuff, you have to be able to say to them the stuff that goes with it. Now, your friend who had the cancer that took it, maybe he was a water drinker like crazy, which is a blessed thing, because a lot of people don't drink as much water as they should. But if he didn't drink enough water to filter out his kidneys and his liver and his blood, then that stuff would actually build up and it actually cause more damage. People don't realize this. I mean, there's so much to natural therapies, and I've been trying for years to explain to people how to do this the right way so it actually works for you. And the best way for it to work for you is to do preventative. And I'm not saying go on diets, don't drink soda, don't do this, don't do that. I'm not going to tell you what not to do. What I'm going to tell you is if you really want to prevent these kinds of things, there's certain things that you have to avoid in order for you not to get it. Because everybody has cancer cells. They're born with them. Everybody. When your cells are made, they turn into one of 4 or 5 things, and whatever they are. But everybody has cancer cells. They're just not they're not activated unless something triggers it to activate. Now, if you've got a history or family history of cancer, you've got a greater risk. If you're a smoker, you've got a greater risk. If you're a drinker, you've got a greater risk. If you're diabetic, and so on and so on and so on. So you have all these little factors. Well, now they're starting to attribute a lot of the cancers to not only the pharmaceuticals that are out there, but the foods we eat because of the GMOs
Exactly.
we have.
The foods, the stuff they're putting in the air, the water. I mean.
Yeah, well, I don't so much worry about the air because your lungs. The people that are dying of cancer of their lungs are attributed more to asbestos, the actual things that people are getting in contact with.
Well,
I was a firefighter for years. That's going to put me at a high risk later on in life.
Right, but I've been hearing a lot of stuff about the new 5G they're coming out and brain cancer. Have you heard about that?
What?
5G or even your regular Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah.
That's.
Well, it emits. There's an emission that comes off of any of this kind of stuff. And there's a whole family. There actually is a small town. I met these people 3 years ago when I was at the hospital with my sister, and 2 years ago. And the poor guy was just riddled with cancer, and so was his wife, and they'd already lost their child. And they said not one person in their town did not have cancer. And I said, "What town do you live in?" And he told me the name of it, and it was here in Arkansas. But guess what? That town, right on that town's borders, are two of the great big power lines.
Yeah.
And it runs parallel to that city. So on the right and the left, they got these big power lines. And they've tried to contact the power company and everything else. Basically, they told them to move. But they said there wasn't a person in that town that didn't have cancer. That's all the mission.
That's funny you say that because where I was raised in Logan, I was from a little town called Omar. But there's another little town, like right down the road from us, it was called Chauncey. And that's where the power plant was there. And a lot of people that lived there had cancer or were getting cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now we're taking those emissions and actually sticking them up to our heads so it goes right into our ears.
Right. I always have my phone on speaker. People complain, "Oh, I can't hear you," and blah blah blah. But man, I don't.
And my phone, and it's not close to me either. I have my phone. That's why when people ask me to speak up, I got my phone away from me, and I don't ever put it up to my ear. And I am on a minimum of 30 inches or better away from my computer at all times. I don't sit close to the computer. I make sure I'm pretty far away. But this is just the way things are now. We're just adding insult to injury. Everybody wants to do this, wants to do that, but you don't realize the repercussions till later.
Well, I'm sure there's probably a better way. And I don't mean to sound like a conspiracy theorist or anything, but I think there's a design behind all this stuff in our food and this stuff in our devices and stuff in the water to dumb us down and make people out of sheep.
Well, maybe in the beginning when the population exploded, that they had to say, well, look, we're not getting enough crops. We're going to have to do something. And the geneticists came up with a way to mass produce. Because they're cutting away the forest, but not for us to grow food in. They're cutting away the forest so it has the paper products, and that's about it. So if they were to cut away forests and build, gardens and stuff like that, it'd be completely different. But that's not what they're doing. They decided to genetically modify our food, and then put hormones to make. You have certain chicken companies that say, we have the plumpest chickens and turkeys. Of course they do because they fill them. They give them growth hormones.
Yeah, hormones.
They make fat and big, and then when they're sitting on the slab, because all you got to do is go online and watch some of those horror stories from some of these companies. They have hidden cameras that go in there, and they take this solution that sits in this great big massive vat, and they take this great big what looks like a needle, a syringe, and they suck up this juice. It's a mixture of chemicals and salt water, and then they turn around, they put 4 or 5 holes in your turkey and chickens to plump up the skin. Well, that stuff soaks inside on top of what they put in the feed and the chemicals they put in the feed. It's crazy what we're putting in our bodies.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't care about this conspiracy theory part of it. Everybody should be conspiracy theorists because I don't believe truly it's all conspiracy.
Well, you should question everything.
People's eyes are being opened.
You should question everything. I mean, we're told that Bigfoot doesn't exist. All right, and this, I mean, it kind of relates to what we're talking about now. Like 5, 6 years ago, I would have said, no, there ain't no Bigfoot around here. You know what I'm saying? But now I know that there is. So what else are they lying about? You know what I mean? I mean, it's just you
I'm
start
sure they're
questioning
lying
other
about a lot
things.
of things, but it stems back, and here's where you can easily stop this conversation, with a lot of people. Is there a God or is there not a God?
Exactly.
Well, if people don't see God, they don't believe it's real. You got people on here that are actually in our chat room that don't believe in God. Okay, but that doesn't mean that they don't believe in Bigfoot. Bigfoot's easier if people have seen them. Nobody sees God.
Right.
So when you talk about conspiracies, all that can be conspiracy. I mean, all of it. Aliens, stuff they're putting in our food, they're changing the water, they want to kill us all, masses, all that stuff. But I don't believe that it's due to the internet that people are becoming as acutely aware of the things that are going on. I think what they're doing is you go to the hospital or you go to the doctor because you're sick. The doctor tells you that what your problem is. You can't tell him anymore. Okay, it's your body, but you can't tell him anymore. He tells you what's wrong with your body, then hands you pills because the drug manufacturer just walked out the door and handed him 500 pills and say, I will give you X amount of dollars if you get rid of these. This is your little kickback.
Right.
So you try them, now you are part of that group of guinea pigs. People are starting to wake up and saying, hey, I've been taking this pill for 10 years, and now I'm on my deathbed, and now they say, well, if you got sick or you've died, call this number. I tell you, those all hold hands. And I think the pharmaceutical company in the United States is one of the biggest mafia, period. I think they right there are the basis of most of the problems in the United States as a pharmaceutical company.
All about the money.
All about the money.
But yeah, back, I don't know if you've got TV now, but back whenever I had it, the commercials would come on, showing this drug, take this wonder drug for this, this, and this. And then the next daggum commercial is about lawyers suing a drug company for the last wonder drug. You know what I mean? It was crazy, and that's like half the commercials were about drugs or a lawsuit against the drug companies because their drugs caused, they took drugs because they itched or something and it gave them cancer.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember what the biggest one was 10 years ago?
No.
Asbestos?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
How many houses do you think have asbestos in them now?
Well, when it was longer than 10 years ago, they outlawed it, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. But guess what they came up with?
It's hard to say.
They come up with a new chemical that has basically the same genetic modification to our bodies that asbestos would do, and they're selling it on the market because it's asbestos free. Just like I tell people that aspartame that's in your diet sodas and every single container of gum that you buy has aspartame in it. And they tell you this is aspartame free and it has ascorbate in it. And ascorbate is the same thing as aspartame. Look it up.
Well, that's good. I've never heard of none of that. There's a lot of this stuff I've never heard of, but I mean, I don't know. Back to the natural remedies and stuff like the yellow root. I take it, which like you was talking about earlier, it's bitter, and I mean I take mine with honey, which honey is good also for like allergies. So I put a tablespoon of honey in mine whenever I drink mine, but it's good for it's antibacterial. It's good for all kinds of stuff. I take it for my immune system. It boosts your immune system also. But I think what my friend was telling me, and I said something about it in the video, doesn't cancer feed off sugar in your body?
Well, sugar excels. It excels cancer cells. I mean, that is basically the food. It becomes cytotoxic because of the foods that we put in our system. If you already have cancer cells, in your body, and it starts to turn because of one thing or another, sugar is the worst thing that you could possibly put in your body because of the fact that it constantly eats. And you got carbohydrates to do the same thing. They turn into sugars. So, again, you still have that problem. People aren't going to stop eating completely when they get cancer. They'll die. So you have to have something that will protect that cancer cell until it gets destroyed. Hence the reason they came out with the chemotherapy and then the radiation. They target it, they close it off, and then they target it, and then the radiation is supposed to destroy it. But it doesn't work that way because just like an antibiotic, people out there need to know that antibiotics are no different than chemotherapy. It's the same thing.
Right.
It destroys all the good cells and the bad cells. And they tell you specifically on there, take these pills until it is gone, because that it fights, until it's completely over. But most people don't, and follow through is, like I said, one of the biggest problems. But if you take something that protects the cancer cells, like they're doing in chemotherapy, it protects the cancer cells until the radiation can destroy it. Then what you're doing is you're basically just, if for no other reason, let's put it this way. Let's just say you've got a pen, and you could zap with that pen each cancer cell and just make it kind of sit there, dormant, not doing anything. Then it's not growing, right?
Right.
But you go back to your normal lifestyle, and guess what happens? One mutates, and then it mutates again, and you got the same problem over and over again. So if you're to change everything until they're completely gone out of your system, that means that the best thing that you can do is do a preventative so it doesn't ever get that way. But like the yellow root is used for the cytotoxic part of this. And you have, when it gets to that point where you're taking the yellow root, you are actually burning out these cancer cells. It's very, very, very hard for people to understand that, and I'm not saying anything about people being dumb or blind or anything along those lines, but when you go to the doctor and he explains cancer to you, then you go home and you look online. What the doctor told you and what you're looking online are two different things. If you go to any cancer site, they're going to tell you the same thing a doctor is going to tell you. Now go to a naturopathic or Chinese Ayurvedic medicine and find out what they say about cancer. They're completely night and day.
Right.
And the reason that people are surviving when they're going to Mexico, number one, the first thing they do to you in Mexico, is put you on an IV of vitamin C. Vitamin C has gone from $2.33 for a bottle of 100 here to almost $30. You think that they all know this? The natural stuff is coming back because old school ways are coming back, but you still have to know how to use them. It's not me suggesting to somebody they go take 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C to protect themselves. Everything has to be done the right way. It's just not cut and dried. Yellow root will not be a cure-all. You have to do things with it. There's something that he did or he got at the right time to cause that one to be completely gone. And it could have been that he already had the surgeries and then he had some chemotherapy. So your best bet, and I'll tell everybody out there the same thing, your best bet is to do the preventative first, which includes, and I can give you a list of all the anti-cancer herbs that are out there. You have burdock root, you've got garlic. I really, stress garlic and onion to everybody. You've got grape seed, you've got ginger, all right? Aloe vera, turmeric,
Dandelion.
Clove is what actually finally got rid of my H. chloride. Doctors didn't tell me that. Natural places didn't tell me that. I found that out by mistake, which I consider a God thing, but the point is, that's one of the things that gets rid of cancer. Licorice, red clover, which is in your garden.
I got a bunch of that.
And there's all kinds of stuff it's out there that actually kills cancer. Dandelion. Everybody's got dandelion, in their yards.
Yeah,
there you go. There's another one that's anti-cancer. You'd be surprised what's out there. And one that I'll tell you works actually better than yellow root is called graviola.
Graviola
and yellow root. Those are my two main staples that someone tells me they've been diagnosed with cancer that I will try to get them that stuff, to help them build their system.
Matt Nevin just said he takes that turmeric for arthritis.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
And
see, I've been taking that too because Dee told me, and I tell you what, it's helping me, Dee. I can feel it now. What's that been, a couple of weeks?
yeah.
And yeah, I've been taking. Well, I've been making one in the morning and one of the evenings, and yeah, it's helping me. And you put the what was it, black pepper in it, right?
Black pepper. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Because it has to be able
absolutely,
to
man.
absorb. Remember I told you about that chelation thing that goes on? Your body has to be able to absorb it. It depends on where your system is. Working with people that have cancer and other problems, there's so many things that you have to ask them, and they have to tell you the truth, which a lot of people won't. But you have to get the truth from these people and find out what their body does naturally for you to be able to give them the stuff to combat what problems they're having, and it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, yeah, you can put onions on your temple, for headaches. I've got a list of things. Like I said, I've been studying for over 30 years that have really helped people, But it's nothing is a cure all in and itself. Prayers are mandatory. Your attitude is mandatory. You have to change how you're looking at it. If you're saying this is just another drug, you're going to have the same mentality. You have to be able to fight, and I think that's one of my main things that I tell people that come to me that have problems that they just found out they were diabetic, and to them that's a life sentence. Well, that's not cancer, but to them it's a life sentence. I said, heck, it's easy. I mean, we can do this. It's a lot of it is a mentality. It's the way you look at things. You have to be able to take the whole picture.
Yeah, a positive attitude. I mean, it's the fighting.
Surrounded by friends and family that believe the same way you do really helps.
Oh yeah, exactly.
My husband was on medicine. He was on gabapentin for the longest time and pain medicine. I got him off, and high blood pressure medicine. I got him off of all of it. And he said he went out and told people. He said that turmeric stuff that my wife gave me was the only reason that I got off the pain medicine that I was on.
Amen.
He said, because I didn't think it worked at first until I stopped taking it. Excuse me. And as soon as he stopped taking it, he was in pain. And he said, I did not realize it worked that well. But it works better, guys. And I'll tell you this, like you just said, Rick. It works much better if you have the black pepper that goes with it.
Right. And explain why.
Because it absorbs. The turmeric by itself will go into your stomach and absorbs just a tiny amount. The black pepper actually goes through your bloodstream. So it'll absorb it'll go with the turmeric and actually go into your bloodstream. I call everything that does that chelation, where it actually is able to absorb, holds it like a sponge into your blood vessels. So, and I'm a big. I mean, I don't adhere to the I guess the religious part of Ayurvedic medicine, but I do agree with their contention of hot and cold, your body being hot and cold. Certain diseases are hot, certain diseases are cold, and that part I agree with. I just got to reading on the chat, someone's talking about CBD oil. Man, I'll tell you what, that's a lifesaver for people with cancer and for chronic pain.
And it's a shame. It's a shame that that's illegal, and it's been illegal. There's been studies on that, on marijuana, basically by itself for years.
It is stupid.
It's retarded. I mean, you can go out and drink a fifth of whatever, all right, but you can't smoke a joint. That is so stupid.
Yeah, and the fifth is going to have you run yourself in or somebody else and kill somebody. But that CBD oil, all it makes you do is
get the munchies and fall asleep.
It helps you eat if you have cancer.
Right.
Takes away pain. I mean, it's God made. I mean, I don't smoke pot. I never have, but and I'm not saying I want my kids and my grandkids to smoke pot, but the CBD oil, my daughter-in-law is in so much pain. They want to send her down to a clinic, to get pain management. And I told her, go take your vape and go down and get that CBD oil. And that's what she's doing. She's putting it in her vape and doing the CBD oil. And I'd rather have her do that. The doctors are stupid.
Yeah. Well,
some of them are absolutely stupid. They could care less.
Well, all they worry about is the money. But yeah, that's
That's
what
it.
it all boils down to. So, how's Robert doing now? Have you heard anything from him lately?
Yeah, I was texting with him last night. He does, I don't want to go into a lot of detail about him because I let him post on Facebook himself, because that way I'm not stepping on his toes. But he is back home. He's not happy to be back home because he's not happy being alone. But he's not totally alone, and he wants to go back to doing what he did before. But he has some issues that he has to overcome first. And we all know Robert Dodson.
He's a tough old bird.
He's a booger.
Yep. He was one of the first ones that whenever I first went online, I found Robert, and I think it was a blessing. Some people might not like him, but the man, I mean, he'll tell straight how it is. And if you don't like it, really it's your problem because he tells the truth, and I love him for it.
Well, this is Robert in a nutshell. He can sit and he was in the beginning answering people's messages that they were giving him, and he had so many people write so many negative, nasty things and telling him what to do and telling him he was stupid and telling him this and telling him that. He laughed it off in the beginning if you watch his old videos, and then he started getting mad.
Right.
And then he really started getting mad, and he just said, "Forget it. I'm going to do it my way. If you don't like it, just don't watch me." And then people started calling him a hoaxer, and that would stick him up. That man is so real.
Oh yeah, he's real. But that's what people
think about that man. Well, I could go into details, but no, he is the way he is. The way you see him is exactly how he is.
Right. Yeah, I mean he's a straight shooter, and that's what I appreciate about him. He's not out there making anything up, and if he's wrong about something, he'll admit it. You know what I mean? But he's straight about it. I kind of wish he wouldn't do the whole feeding thing. And if he did, I wish he'd do more natural stuff. But to each his own. And you can't really say nothing about it. I'd recommend people not feeding him. But
yeah.
But he's got some good results, some excellent results, and some great
the area
videos.
he's feeding them is not the area that he lives. He does go. So, and he's been doing this since that guy bought that property.
Right.
So what he does is a little bit different. He doesn't go in his backyard and put food out anymore. He goes away and does it and comes back. Because I've been with him. Him and I put apples and oranges out, and they took the apples and left the oranges. They won't eat bananas either. I don't know why, but I've even peeled them and showed them how to do it, but they still won't touch the bananas. And that was on his property. But he goes up and barbecues because he says, "Hey, here's some meat," and he'll barbecue stuff and put it up there. But the last time I was there, that weekend I had left, he decided to put a rump roast up there, and they chewed up a bunch of that rump roast and spit it out in his tent. He had an audio recorder in that tent, and they spit it in his tent, and he'd get up there with his video recorder and looked inside of it, and it was nasty. It was a big old chunk of ew.
I don't know how true it is, but I've heard from a couple people, and I'm reading the book now, that they don't like cooked meat. And I don't know if it's all meats or what, but they don't really like cooked meat. They like raw meat.
I don't know.
I have
no idea. I've never tried to feed them anything other than I put the apples up there, but like I said, I tell them the apples are for the horses.
Yeah. I haven't fed anything in a while. I started out, which they started out getting the dog food here, and it was turning pretty ugly. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the apples. If there wasn't apple trees around my property, because there are some on the corners of my property, there are a couple apple trees, and there's wild grapes everywhere and stuff like. If there wasn't apples up there, I would put apples up there.
Right.
Because they can get them from there.
Well, see, I've started planting fruit trees around here, and it's not, for me, I put mulberry bushes out because I've heard they love mulberries. So I put mulberries out, and they're more than welcome to any of them. Yeah, well, I've got raspberries, blackberries growing here beside the garden. I put some cantaloupe out for them today, and there's natural stuff like that. It's away from the house. It's up past my garden, but and I'll tell them this is yours, this is mine. And hopefully they'll stay out of my garden, which they haven't been too bad in the garden. I think they've reached over and got some cantaloupe before though.
Well, sure they have. I'm sure they like cantaloupe. I have to address something in the chat room real quick. Brent made a comment about food grade peroxide killing cancer cells too. Well, let me say this. They did a study, and I was there for that study. They took Manuka honey, food grade hydroperoxide, colloidal silver, 3 different types of antibiotics, and an antiviral. And they took MRSA and put them in petri dishes. And they dropped a dropper full of each one of them in those petri dishes. Within seconds, the Manuka honey killed the MRSA. Within seconds, the food grade hydrogen peroxide killed the MRSA. And within seconds, the colloidal silver killed the MRSA. It took 8 days for the antibiotic to kill the MRSA.
Huh.
So what do you think what would you use then?
I probably got the honey myself.
Yeah, the point is they could be putting medicinal honey on these people's open wounds that have MRSA, and they would cure them.
I have no idea what MRSA even is.
It's the resistance to antibiotics. It's the infection that your body gets because your body can no longer handle the antibiotics, and you've taken so many antibiotics that everything is resistant. I had a friend of mine. Well, everybody knows Sandy. She lived here with me for a while, and now she lives on the property. Sandy had a pressure ulcer, on the back of her leg. The doctor didn't even address it, and this is because she had bad circulation. And so he was telling her to put these ped hose on, which are these compression socks. And I noticed one day when she walked by, she had this great big, deep purple mark on the back of her leg. And I said, "What is that?" She said, "Oh, nothing. It's just a sore." The doctor, said, "I'm going to get a couple of them." And I said, "Can I see it?" She pulled that stocking down, and I about died. It was almost down to her bone.
Oh my goodness.
And she said the doctor didn't even address it. Stasis ulcers, pressure ulcers, they are dangerous. And he did nothing. So I took colloidal silver and Manuka honey, and I treated her for 4 weeks, and it's completely healed. Nothing else.
It's a shame that like my papa knew a lot about healing herbs and stuff. His mom was like the medicine woman or whatever. she knew all that stuff, and he didn't know as much as her, and I definitely don't know as much as either one of them. But a lot of people's lost this, and man, there's a cure for I'd say anything out there. People used to know, and now we don't know it anymore. And I think that.
Well, yeah, the Indians used to do that, remember? But not all their people, not cures. Let's change that word. They're remedies.
Remedies, yeah.
Yeah, some people get cured, but not everybody gets cured.
Right.
You gotta remember what I can do with one person, I might not be able to do with the next, and that has to do with compliance. Number one, you have to be compliant in your treatment. You have to be honest.
Right.
I mean, people back then, the Native Americans, they didn't have a choice. Okay, they've got this disease or this problem, and they would treat them with what they knew, but not everybody survived. Chemistry has a lot to do with it. What you do, how you live, how much sleep you get, how stressed you are. I promise you, if they did a test of everybody's cortisol level in the United States, everybody would be skyrocketing, except for all those people taking CBD oil. Of course, they'd be, probably pretty cool and calm. But everybody else, their cortisol level and their adrenal glands are probably off the charts.
Right. Matt's saying they use honey on people's pressure sores where he works. He works at a old folks home, I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, nursing home. Yeah, so did I. But you know what? They wouldn't let me. In fact, they told me they would write me up if I did it again.
Oh my God!
And I actually did this lady's leg that had been, and Matt, you can relate to this. She was bedridden. She had not walked in probably 2 years, and she had this great big gashing wound that was constantly getting infected. And they kept trying all these debridement stuff and doing this and doing that. And she would cry and scream and blah blah. And all I did was slap the honey on a 4x4 and stick it on her leg and wrapped it. And every couple of days I'd come back and take it off, and she She healed up really well, and they told me, the doctor came in and said, I don't know what this is, but get it off of her. And they all knew because what it was. They all knew, recognized the honey, and came back and told me that they would write me up if I did it again.
Now, why? Why? If something's working, why would they do that?
Because it's not doctor ordered, that's why.
Because they can't charge them for it or something, maybe?
I don't know what it is, but I couldn't talk to her family. And when I talked to the rest of the family, that's why I no longer work there.
That's disgusting.
I was still giving people Xarelto. Xarelto has been on TV as far as death for the past 2 years, and they're still giving it to them. I can't do the nurse stuff and the homeopathic stuff. I can't do it. I mean, I don't want to be a nurse anymore. I just don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to pass out these drugs that are killing people. Right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. People need to go back to natural stuff. I mean, like you were saying, the doctors give them a death sentence, and they just pretty much throw their hands up and they give up. And like this yellow root, don't take our words. Go in here and research it. I mean, really dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your ailment might be, there's something out there for you.
Right.
Just research it. I mean, you was talking about the internet a while ago and people figuring out. I think we was talking about conspiracies at the time or something like that. There's a lot of truth out there on the internet. You just have to look for it because there is a lot of misinformation too. People looking for a fast buck or whatever.
Right.
But dig in there, get in there and research it.
Yeah, and if you don't know how to research, I told people before, if you have a certain problem, contact me. I'll at least push you in the direction that you need to go so you can do your own research. I don't claim to be a know-it-all. I'm not a doctor, but I have been diligently studying this for over 30 years. So I know a lot of my roots. I know a lot of the drugs. I know a lot of the natural or homeopathic stuff. It may work for you. It may not work for you. It may take a long time for it to work. You might have to change a few things. But don't sit and take that pill every day that they're telling you need for high blood pressure when that pill is not stopping. It's stopping. Every single drug that they give you masks the problem that you have. It does not cure. They only mask the problem. Pain medicine does not cure the pain. It just takes away the pain. It doesn't stop the problem.
Right.
Blood pressure medicine doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't fix the heart. None of these medicines that they're giving you actually fix the problem. They just mask them, and then the side effects to them are so evil, so horrible. People say, I've been doing this all my life, and if it wasn't for this blood pressure medicine, I'd probably be dead, but now I got this issue and this issue and this issue. Well, of course. And look at today, how many younger people have Alzheimer's and dementia. They're not in their 70s and 80s anymore. Could be in their 30s and 40s and get dementia.
Yeah, it's great. Well, look how many kids have ADHD or, learning difficulties or whatever. I think that's got a lot to do with the fluoride in the water and the hormones in the food and all that mess.
The medicines they give the mom when she's pregnant. But I also have to address one thing. I get really irritated, and I had a knockdown drag out with the school when my granddaughter started it or my grandson, because he was hyper, and they said that they wanted him tested for ADD, ADHD, and I said no. And they said, why? He's got all the signs and symptoms. I said, look, I bounce off of walls and I'm 60, okay? And I said, I've been hyper all my life. It's hyperactivity. It's not ADD. It's not If I'm ADD, so what? Am I going to take pills for it?
Right. I think a lot of it's just...
it just makes me nuts.
I think a lot of it's just kids being the kids. You know what I mean? And they're just...
Yeah.
They're just another dollar for somebody to make.
That's right, because they started all these new programs to target the people whose kids are, quote-unquote, falling behind. Why don't they teach the teachers? Why don't they keep up the schools that they used to have for kids like that, the programs that they used to have for kids that are ADD or ADHD, or basically just hyperactive kids? They had programs for them back when my kids were growing up. They don't have them anymore.
No, they don't.
Now they want your kid. I had to go to court and get forced to give my granddaughter antidepressants. Forced by a court of law.
the whole
Rapid
the what they call it, the no kid left behind or whatever, which is all it's a good theory, but if you're special needs, I mean, if you don't learn as quick as the other people, they had it to where that they would put you in special classes and teach them at their rate. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Now they want to put them in the classes with the rest of the kids. And if they get, if they're not doing as good as the other kids, they graduate them to the next grade. And basically, it's not fair to any of them because now the whole class is not learning as much as they should. But I mean, I don't know. Why do they do that?
I don't know, but these kids are the ones that are paying for it because not only do they have to be separated, but they also have to be forced to take medication. You're giving these young kids this medication that's going to destroy them when they're older. They're going to think they're going to think that they have to have that medication to survive.
Yeah.
It's wrong. It is so wrong. It just, like I said, it floors me. Absolutely floors me. There's so many things out there that you can give a child that's hyperactive to calm them down, and there's ways that you can. I know there's other circumstances. There's parents out there who were drug addicts and their kids. This is the repercussions. Their kids are now having to take medication because their parents were on drugs. Now their parents are clean. The kid still has this problem, and now you're going to have to work through this child and through their problem.
And what's their kids going to be like?
There are ways of doing it. And it doesn't include drugs. But
yeah.
Hang on 1 second. I got to answer hold on a second.
All right. But then you wonder what the next generation is going to be after this generation. I mean, it's just an endless cycle. And I think a lot of it's got to do with. I'm a Christian. I'm a God-fearing man, and I think it's good versus evil. The Lord versus Satan. Now in school, they're teaching kids evolution. Basically, they're teaching that they came from a rock and that they're not special in any type of way. They're not a creation of our Lord, but they're like the rock. They're a speck of dust. They're nothing. They're insignificant. And then you got what we had here, yesterday, the shooting. I mean, look how many shootings we're having now. Because, nobody's special anymore. We as human beings, we're created in God's image, all right? He loves us more than anything on this planet. But they're teaching these kids that they're nothing.
The apple of his eye, right?
What was that?
These kids today, we're supposed to be the apple of his eye, but here's the deal. These kids today don't feel like they're even worth it.
Right.
Nobody's special. You're a dime a dozen, another one will come along right behind you. That is just... we can, like I said, we can get into a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's very, very hard. And we're not going to change the world unless we change the world. And I've been saying that for years because I hear a lot of people say things, but they don't do it. You got to do it. When I'm with my grandkids and they're telling me all this nasty stuff that they're doing or they're thinking, and I have to do a lot of prayer about it, and I sit down and I just listen to them. I shake my head because I'm shocked at some of the stuff that comes out of their mouths at such a young age. The little girl down the street, I watched her slap her mother in the face. She slapped her mother in the face, and her mother just shook it off and yelled at her and kept going about her business. It slayed me. I mean, it just slayed me. You think it's that kid's problem?
Well, I mean, she learned it somewhere, didn't she?
Yeah. And they allow it because they've been programmed that you can't spank or discipline your children.
Right.
And it ruins them.
I got spanked quite a few times.
Because back when God was in school and you were allowed to discipline your children, how many of these things that you see happening now today with younger kids happened?
Right.
It didn't. And if it did, it was very few and far between. It was not just because it wasn't media, put on the media. It just didn't happen that often.
Right.
You had strict guidelines. We're not going to go back. We're not going to, unless the next generation decides to go back to old ways. The only thing that's going to happen is if, oh my gosh, some kind of apocalyptic thing happens and, I don't know, Yellowstone blew and something we were thrown into another ice age, or half that happened, not even that bad, and we all had to live off the land. Then people would start going back to the basics.
They wouldn't have
discipline
no
wouldn't be.
choice.
I mean,
Well, I mean,
conduct
something like
wouldn't be
a
tolerated.
EMP. If a EMP happened, and there's countries that don't like us that could make that happen. And once the power went off, everything in our daily lives runs off of power now. I mean, you couldn't get gas, you couldn't buy nothing. It's all on the grid now. If the grid went down, oh Lord have mercy. I would say within 2 or 3 days there would be riots and people murdering each other over a can of beans.
Yep.
I believe I'll just stay here.
Well, I'll tell you, the natural foods and not natural foods, because there's a lot of things out there and people cannot be, swayed by this. You have to understand, I would appreciate it if people would understand this. Just because it says organic on it does not mean it's organic. People have jumped on the bandwagon. There's a lot of, I got food grade hydrogen peroxide sent in the mail to me. The first thing I do is test it on metal. I tested on metal, it did nothing. I sent it back. Okay, Amazon gave me my money back, and I sent it back. There's a lot of places out there that you cannot trust. You have to be careful where you buy your stuff. And right. I can tell you the places that you can buy them and the types, that I've proven that actually work. I've gone to McDonald's. I've gone to Walmart and bought, like vitamin C or something like that, and then turned around and found out 2 years after spending that money that most of the stuff that they sell, one of the companies that they buy from, doesn't even have the ingredients, not even 5% of the ingredient in it. So I started doing research for the purest companies, and I had to pay for that, piece of paper that they, that study that they did. You actually had to pay for it. So I had to pay to get that study, and when I did, I found out there was a lot of companies that actually regulate what they send out, and if it's outdated at all, they retract it. They take them back.
Well, who's
because they stand by the organic part.
Is there? I hate to even say this, like the FDA or something like that.
No.
Are they?
It has nothing to do with the FDA. FDA has nothing to do with this.
Is there any watchdogs over any of that?
Yeah, this is all the organic stuff. This is all the people that do the natural and the organic, because they're fighting each other because one company can sell the same product for half the price and they don't know how. You can't stay truly organic and not charge because it takes so much to stay organic. And so when they sell it half price, then they decided to call that company out and say, prove it. And when they had to call them out, of course, they had to get other people, FDA probably got involved in that. But when they tested it and they had them tested, one of the company, Mountain Rose Herbs, they turned around and had something tested and found out that there wasn't even 1% in it. Now, they can turn around and say you're falsifying that claim, and it shuts people down. So you can go on Better Business Bureau and find a lot of places that have been shut down because they weren't compliant. They could not prove that their name, they just picked the name organic. It has nothing to do with organics. So people are so greedy and so underhanded today.
It's terrible.
It's crazy. Just be careful. The best way to get it is the way that you and I are doing it. You go to the woods, you pull it out of the ground yourself. My dandelions, I don't get from my house. I have cats and dogs and wolves, okay? So I have to go someplace else that's not sprayed or anything like that and find all my milk thistle, my mullein. I get all those out of the woods, and I harvest them myself. So I watch. I do everything with gloves so nothing gets tainted, but I can't sell any of my stuff, nor would I. God gave it to me. I give it to other people.
Right.
You got to do it right. You can't trust something online that's the way it is, because if it doesn't work for you, that's probably because it wasn't real to begin with.
Right.
And I'm like you, Rick. I'm so sick and tired of hearing another person got cancer, another person got cancer.
Oh my God, it's every day you hear about so-and-so's got cancer.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, guys out there. Start getting this stuff. Berberine is what is in gold seal. I don't know if you knew that, but berberine they've been using for people for Alzheimer's for years. It does things to your brain. So, and it's good for some people. It gave me wicked headaches, but there are things that you can do as preventative, and that's what you need to do, preventative. Don't get the cancer. Start taking some of this stuff as a preventative.
Exactly.
You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that the government and the hospitals, my goodness, they treat you like crap. They treat you like crap.
Watch what you put in your body. I mean, the foods, the water, all of it's tainted.
People can't afford to eat good if they don't live out there like you do and do your own garden. They can't afford to do that. They live in the city. You know, they go to a grocery store. They might go to a farmer's market or to organic stores. You never know what you're getting. They might try. You know, like I said, this is a lifestyle change, people. If you want to raise your kids on a lifestyle change, that'd be different for the next generation. But right now, if people don't start doing the preventative stuff, we're going to see more and more of this happen. But that was my intent on getting my web page back up there, is just putting this information out so people would. But here's another thing. I went to 2 websites today that I'd never heard of before. So if I hadn't known that website was there that had that information, you know, I would have missed a lot of information, new stuff that's out, certain drug interactions with certain herbs. The issue is, how would these people know to go look for it?
Yeah, I've got a couple books. What helps me, like I said, Papa used to take me around and show me these different things. Like where I was digging the yellow root today, I found 2 other herbs that's growing right there, or roots. That's bloodroot and ginseng was there also, along with the yellow root. And they all basically grow in the same places, like a loomy, shady places with the, loose soil and shade.
Yeah. Well, you probably got hen of the woods out there, you know, maitake and
Oh yeah,
mushrooms.
all that's out there.
You've got those which are highly medicinal. They do a great number of things. You've got dandelion, which you can turn into coffee. You know, it's got its own kind of caffeine, so it don't
chicory.
jitters.
Got chicory here.
Good grief, you guys! Everybody's got so many things that they could use right out of the ground while we have the opportunity, and all you got to do is harvest them every 6 months or so. They stick around long enough, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it. But get yourself started on dandelion if that's all you got, you know, close by where you live. There's so many things, and onions and garlic. I push those all the time, but they're the highest potency, and oil of oregano, highest potency of antibiotic, antiviral out there. Good grief.
Huh. What was it? I was sick and you had me drink the, what was it, garlic and honey?
I didn't hear you.
Whenever I was sick, you had me drink the garlic, honey, and I'm trying to think if there's something else in there.
You didn't have the turmeric, cayenne pepper?
No.
Oh, you didn't put turmeric, you didn't put that in yours. But it's just basically, you can, which I tell, that's a little stuff that I make. I put onions, garlic, turmeric, and honey in mine. I make tea out of it, or I make like cough syrup. Boy, I get rid of a cough in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Mama used to make it with the yellow root. She would put yellow root and honey and Kessler's whiskey. And it would knock a cold right out of you.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Knock me on my butt, it would. I haven't had alcohol in over 20 years.
It didn't have enough alcohol in it. I think she used like a little, I guess, a half pint or whatever.
Well, yeah, some of my tinctures I use
a whole big jug
of alcohol. I have to use 8 proof alcohol to make some of my tinctures.
Alcohol is a medicine. Anything can be overdone, and you can misuse anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a medicine also. It can be. Clean wounds with or whatever.
Oh yeah, plantain. You can use plantain. You can use yarrow root. Yarrow root. You pull the yarrow root out of the ground and stick it in your mouth for a toothache, and it's gone. Your mouth will be numb. Your tooth will be numb. You can rub the yarrow flowers together in your hands and rub it on your body and get rid of mosquitoes. There's all kinds of things you can. You've got there's so many kind of thistles out there that are good for you. Milk thistles good for your liver and stuff like that. But you've got stinging nettle, which is good.
Yep.
You know, I mean, plantain is also one of the natural plants out there. One of the ones that actually has protein in it. Not very many of them have protein. People need to know that if they're out in the woods and maybe they're getting not the sugar, but maybe they're getting the vitamins for the day, but they're getting no protein. They won't survive that long, especially if they're cut or wounded, if they don't have protein. So you have to know what edibles are out there that you can, for the problem that you're having.
Yeah, I've got 2 books. Like I said, I've got 2 books, and it shows one of them's just the drawings of the plant. The other one's actually got pictures in it, and they're helpful too for identifying different plants out there.
Yep.
It's something you can carry with you.
Oh, Vicky said mistletoe. Yes, mistletoe is another one. Oh, that's anti-cancer also.
Is it
really? You
really?
gotta be really careful with mistletoe.
Yeah, I heard that was.
And I will tell you this: a lot of people have a bad reaction to mistletoe.
Yeah, I've heard it's poisonous. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, mistletoe is another one. Frankincense and myrrh, right out of the Bible. Those are another ones that you can put in your diffuser. They cure headaches and all kinds of other stuff. You'd be surprised what's already out there. This is all God-given stuff we were handed. We just don't use.
Castor oil.
I don't think I've ever had. Oh, I think they gave me castor oil once in my first pregnancy. I was like, I'll never do that again. No thanks.
Now, what's that for?
Castor oil?
Yeah, why would Matt, was you pregnant? Like slippery elm, there's people that gather it around here that it's used for your stomach ailments. A lot of different trees are medicinal. Maple, willow. Yeah. That book I'm reading, they was talking about, and I've seen here, and it's very interesting about the boogers chewing on maple trees and elm trees whenever they was sick. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Pretty cool.
Well, you know what castor oil actually does?
No.
All right. Well, they have, you can use it for wounds and stuff like that. But it's basically an anti-inflammatory. And they used to give back in the day when I went to nursing school. They taught us that they used to use castor oil to prevent liver damage. If you were taking certain medicines, they gave you castor oil because it would prevent damage to liver. How could they know that back then? You know what I'm saying? How could they know that back then? I don't know. It slays me what they know that they just didn't tell anybody.
I mean, I guess, I don't know, word of mouth. Like the Native Americans, how they know all the different things. I guess it was just trial and error for a while until they found out what worked, and then they knew what to get for a headache or get for a wound or whatever. Trial and error.
Yeah.
People's pretty smart if you give them a chance.
Well, yeah. Like I said, if you're serious enough about wanting to change, a disease that you have or a problem that you have, you can do it. I promise you can do it. It's not going to happen overnight, but it does work. A lot of this stuff really does work. And Mr. Frank, if you don't be quiet, I'm going to throw something at you. I'm telling you, that's a troublemaker right there. No, Frank actually sent me those. It was a book of old ways, it's called, or something like that. I was going to order it, and then he told me he already did, and he sent it to me. I haven't had a chance to read them yet, which I'll get around to it, but I've got other things going on right now. But there are so many natural cures out there. You'd be surprised, people. Oh my gosh, there's so many little things like that most people just don't even realize is medicinal or therapeutic.
What are you talking about? Groundhog grease?
Groundhog grease? What the heck is groundhog grease?
That might be something just the hillbillies do. They used to use it for colds too. They'd, like, whenever you cook a groundhog, it makes it like a grease comes on top of the water. And they would skim it off the top. Like if you got sick, I guess, breathing issues or whatever, they would rub it on their chest like a vapor rub or something. Yeah, groundhog grease.
Wow. Well, they actually said, what was it, not too long back? I can't remember how long ago it was, but there was a something on TV that I had watched. It said that there was X amount of people that had actually had heart attacks from using Vicks Vapor Rub on their chest. And they told you to stop putting it on your kids. And I couldn't figure out why, they would say that, because to me it just didn't make any sense. And a lot of the natural stuff that was selling that got rid of certain, because you can use, it's great to use Vicks Vapor Rub on your feet at night if you have tired feet. And on your feet all day at work, come home, put Vicks Vapor Rub all over your feet and put socks on, and oh my gosh, it just relieves those really achy, throbbing feet. But when they said that, I had to think about it. Anything that will open up blood vessels or open up nasal passages, should be good for certain, problems that you have. But I bet you 10 to 1 that was just another way of them saying, don't take this natural product, or don't take this because, these people are dying from it. Think about why those people had heart attacks. I mean, I wish I could go back and read their medical history or whatever. But you can't always do that. You just can't. You just have to take today, figure out what you want to do today with what you have, what you want to change, where you want to be, as far as your physical health. How many people out there exercise every single day? How many people out there drink enough water every single day? How many out there, in fact, that's a good question for everybody in the chat room. Does anybody know their current pH level? Anybody?
I don't.
Right? You know that it's cheap to buy the strips and test the urine once a month. It's cheap. And if you find out you're acidic causes inflammation. Inflammation is 99% of any disease. That's simplicity right there.
So what do? Drink milk or something?
No, I drink pH balanced water, Fiji water, or any of the waters that are pH balanced. I will not drink any of the waters that you buy in the stores, because you're going to find out that they're acidic.
And they got fluoride in them. Fluorine.
Yeah, you have to drink pH balanced water.
My birds are back.
The birds are back?
Yep. I heard a limb snap a while ago, too. I've got the lights up there at the gates and stuff, and I got 2 more down here going.
Yeah, I wish I could go back to I wish I could have gone to my property this weekend to find out if they took those lights. Last time I put those out, they took them. We couldn't find them anywhere. They took off of them.
What, you got lights like I got?
No, I don't buy the flashing ones like you have. I just bought the ones you crack open. Just the regular lights you crack and they can hang in the tree, and they took them.
Well, they took mine, too, that time we went camping. But then I got to think, well, man, I hope they don't, eat them, because I don't know what's in those things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, let me address 2 things in the chat. Tim, lemon and limes are vitamin C. That's one of the best things you can do for anything is vitamin C and coals of it.
Keep talking, Dee. I'm going to get me some coffee. Huh? Keep talking. I'm going to get some coffee.
All right. And Matt, partial blockage in the artery, all you got to do is start taking, I know I smoke too, but all you got to do is start taking cayenne pepper every day. You'll hate me the first 24 hours, but after that, your body will adjust to it. Take 1 capsule 3 times a day or 2 times a day, and then up it as you go. It usually doesn't cause stomach problems, or pain in your stomach, unless you have other issues. So if it does, then take it with food. But if you want to get rid of the blockage, cayenne pepper is natural, and it is roto-rooter for your arteries. Anybody have any questions? I will try very diligently to get this page started where you guys can go ahead, give me the information that you want me to post up there, and I will go ahead and post it.
Well, Dee, instead of doing that page, why don't you just do videos on it? Everybody in here's, on the YouTube anyway.
But I don't know how to do the videos, and I don't like the black screen.
I'll teach you how to do the OBS, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like the screen share, like I'm doing now, you can go and whatever picture you want to look at, then it's right there. Somebody said something
Yeah.
about sassafras tea. We used to drink it. Mama used to make us go dig those roots all the time. Sassafras tea.
Oh yeah.
I
Wait.
was gonna see what the health benefits for them are. It says don't drink a lot of it. Yeah, bad for the liver and
There, like I said, oh my goodness, there's so much stuff out there. It's crazy. Yeah, my husband's
apparently don't drink a lot of sassafras tea.
sassafras tea is good for you.
Well,
I don't like it.
not a lot of it.
That's how they make root beer sassafras.
Huh?
That's how they make root beer sassafras.
Right. But it says a lot of it. Let's see. While there are health risks. Oh, never
Research
mind.
says
I
that
read it
down
wrong.
there under immune system. Sassafras tea has been traditionally used in small amounts to treat the symptoms of cold and flu. Why small amounts?
I don't know. Because up here it says consuming excess, which, like I said earlier, anything, too much of anything can be bad for you.
Well, let me tell you something else too. It's called Hirschsprunger's disease, and it's what happens is your body detoxifies, and it actually acts like you're sick. As your liver and your kidneys and your blood and stuff like that start to detoxify, it takes all those toxins out of your system. It comes out as acne, diarrhea, sores on your body, feeling of malaise, your fatigue, headaches, the whole 9 yards, and people quit. They say, oh, I'm allergic to it. No, you're not. Your body's actually detoxifying. Keep it up. The only way you should stop taking it is if you can't breathe. Okay? The rest of it, after you've been taking it for a little while, and some people's system is different, and I warn everybody when I get them started on a naturopathic journey, I tell them, you're going to go through this. Your body's going to go through a detox part, and you're going to get sick. And when you get sick, you got to push through it. You got to drink lots of water, eat a lot of vegetables and fruits and vitamin C and stuff, and just push through it because it won't last very long. But if you quit, you got to go through it all over again when you do it the next time.
What'd you say? Vitamin C went up a lot?
Oh my goodness, vitamin C. I used to buy the vitamin C. Remember I told you to get them at Walmart. And I used to buy them for $2.33 for a bottle. It's including tax for a bottle of it. Now I sent my husband to the store, and the big bottle that I wanted was $29, almost $30.
It's just because more people's getting it, supply and demand and all that, right?
Fine, the main thing they'll raise the prices of stuff that's natural. Even my cayenne pepper has gone up. Even all my natural stuff that I bought online that I paid $6.95, or $3.49 for, my maitake mushrooms that I buy. I used to buy a pound of those, for $4 or $5. Now I'm paying $15, $16 for that same pound.
Huh. Well, actually, it's
So that's how the government's going to stop you from buying it, because people can't buy that with their Medicaid.
price fixing against Chinese vitamin C.
Yeah, a lot of these things, I'm telling you, you're better off getting in food because if you can. But there is a way to tell how much right brown dwarf. Yeah, we can get into all that. But yeah, you're right, brown dwarf, black walnut, or wormwood. And people should do that. They should do the anti-parasites at least once a year, or you will get sick, people. Just so you know, you will get sick. You can't take all that stuff that's in your body and purge it out without repercussions. It will happen. But just fight through it. There's a lot of really good stuff out there. But if you can eat some, this is what I do. I take lemons, I take limes, oranges, berries, and I cut them into small pieces, and I put them in those snack size Ziploc bags, and I put them in the freezer. Then I take my bottle of water, and I'll take out a couple of of the fruits, and they're frozen. I stick them in my drink. It keeps it cold. I shake it like crazy, and I get my vitamin C with no extra sugar.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it works. And I wish they would allow it. There's a lot of states that won't allow it, but I wish people would start growing, instead of flowers on their front porches, start growing little teeny gardens. Just put a couple of things out there. You can get the dwarf fruit plants and put them in your house. The only thing that you have to worry about is the fruit flies and stuff like that if you don't know how to take care of it. But you can have a small little. I know a lot of people probably have.
Do it in buckets.
Huh?
Do it in buckets. I'm growing some tomato plants in buckets this year, and actually huh?
Yep. It's
Yeah.
awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's easy. It's easier.
Yep.
If you want to weed, you just move your bucket and weed eat and put your bucket back.
Yep.
Which I've got my other garden too, but in the buckets, I'm mostly using them for the boogers.
Yeah.
So I can put them away from my house.
Does anybody out there have asthma? If anybody out there has asthma, that's another Himalayan salt. You take a pinch of Himalayan salt under an asthma attack and put it underneath your tongue. Roll your tongue around a little bit on it, and then drink a full bottle of water, and your asthma attack will stop.
What, Himalayan salt?
Yep.
Never heard of that either. I wonder if it's something to do with where they're up so high. I mean,
I don't know, but it works.
You know what I'm saying? Because the oxygen's thinner there.
I don't know. All I know is that it works.
That's what a Yeti told me. But I'm trying to read some of these chat things. Himalayan pink salt.
Yeah, that's what I have. I give it to my husband because he's got asthma.
I've never even heard of that.
Well, of course, they're not going to tell you that anyplace. They're not going to tell you that at the doctor's office, right?
Man, I think you should start doing videos on different. Just pick one thing and start doing videos with it. Is your laptop still down or whatever?
No, I still get the blue screen every once in a while. I'm supposed to take it in, but I just can't get rid of my computer long enough. He needs it for at least 3 days, or 2 or 3 days, because that's when he works. It's on Tuesday and Thursday. I can't go that long without my computer with my scrub company coming up. I can't. I have to answer those every single day.
But somebody said you can buy something at the dollar store, but you have to watch what you're buying, like she was talking about earlier. Not everything is as it appears.
No, it's not. And dollar store. I mean, all you gotta do is look up the grade. They each have a grade, and if you look up the grade online, you'll find out that certain companies have a higher grade than others, which means they have at least, and this is really bad and sad, but they have at least 30% of what's written on the bottle in it. And that's all you're looking for. You need at least 30%. Because if they say, and always read how many pills you have to take. So if it's 500 milligrams and 3 drops, or 4 drops, or 40 drops, just make sure that the percentage in there is correct. Otherwise, if you have to get it from, say you went to Amazon and you bought a couple of bottles or something, and they say that you have to take, it's 500 milligrams, but you have to take 4 pills. Well, look for another brand in there that you only have to take 1 pill for that 500 milligrams, but then I would check into the name of the company to find out what grade they are. And if they're at least 30%, then it's absolutely better to pay a couple dollars more to buy the 1 pill as opposed to the 4. But basically what you're getting is sugar or something else.
Everybody's talking about they're quitting eating sugar, and now I'm seeing salt, and which I've done too. I used to drink sugar in my coffee, which I still do in my tea, I guess. But the salt, I've totally done away with salt. I don't put salt on my foods anymore because your foods already have salt in them.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember there's different kinds of salts. Your body needs sodium. I mean, certain types of sodium because of the iodine content. Iodized salt it's not, most of the salt that's in your food is not iodized. Uh, you have to have iodine, otherwise you have thyroid problems.
Right.
So you don't totally eliminate it. Remember what God said, everything in moderation.
Right.
So you don't want to eliminate your table salt because it has iodine in it. You need the iodine for your thyroid.
Well, crap. Then I got to buy salt.
Now you can, yeah, and as far as your sugar is concerned, you don't want to totally cut out sugar unless you're detoxing. You want a little bit of everything so you're not putting yourself in a position where you think this is the rest of your life. You're never going to be able to eat sugar again. You're never going to be able to do this. You're never going to be able to, don't do it that way. Just do it in moderation.
Well, like I said, I don't put it in my coffee. I used to drink it with my coffee, and I still do with my tea or whatever. And
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes I drink tea without sugar, but it's a lot better with sugar.
Yeah.
I like my tea. I like my tea sweet.
Yeah, I like my tea sweet too.
But in the wintertime, I drink it without sugar.
I use the honey in
I drink
mine.
it
I
hot.
like it better than I do the sugar.
See, I don't like it with honey in it. Now, coffee ain't too bad with honey.
What kind of honey you have, hon?
Well, this is.
It really depends on what kind of honey you use. I use the Manuka honey.
I think this is sourwood that I'm using right now.
And it's expensive. But I don't have to buy it very often. And when I make tea, I make my own tea from my own tea bags, and I put ice with it, and I love it. It tastes really good. But if I was going to go buy me a 6-pack of teas, I would just buy the sweet tea, from the store. I just don't like that much tannic acid. It just tears my stomach up.
Right.
No, Pam, no cold Pepsi a day. You guys ought to look into what they do to your sodas.
Yeah.
It's not so much, it's a lot of sugar, but it's not so much that actually the bubbles.
Yeah, I used to drink a lot of Coke too, and I don't drink it anymore. I drink mostly water now. Water and tea.
I drink. Pam. I'm laughing at Pam. She's being bad. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I know. People are going to hate me when I tell them to stop drinking soda, but you shouldn't drink soda.
Yeah, I don't trust what they put in there either. Man, I try not to buy a lot of store-bought food. I mean, of course you have to, but like I do a lot of canning. The past couple of years, I've done a lot of canning, and I mean, it really helps with the bills. It costs a lot in the beginning whenever you're getting your plants and your fertilizer and all that. I wish I had some horses. That'd be some great fertilizer. Or some chickens. But I'm trying to make it to where I can be self-sufficient here.
Well, I think chickens would be a bad idea on your property.
Why?
Because
boogers have to eat too.
Eat them.
Well, I guess I'll need a lot of chickens.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have chickens for very long. I mean, I had 21 chickens one night, and the next day I had 3 left, and that was from I don't know what kind of animal that cut their throats, but that was.
I'll get Gray Cat to guard them.
Yeah, well, they're in a. I had it all fenced off, chicken wired all the way up, doors closed on it, everything, and something I don't know how they got in, but it got in and killed all my chickens.
My problem, I was going to start chickens this spring, but I went to get them and they was out of chickens. I'm going to try to find another place because I got everything that I need for them now, but except for the chickens, I got a place cleared out in the barn where I don't think the boogers would get into it. I've got the top, and it's got 4 walls on it. If they want it in there, they can get in whatever they want. But be a good place for the chickens to go. I know the owls and stuff couldn't get to them. Maybe a fox might be able to, but.
Yeah, something got into mine. I knew it had to be some kind of animal. My neighbor said it was either possum or raccoon. I don't know which one, but forget that. Pam, oh my goodness, I went for a whole year with no sugar drinks but sweet tea. Nothing changed. You're funny. Sweet tea probably has more sugar than the fruits do. Oh gosh.
She probably drinks it Southern style.
I love this group. They're so funny.
Extra sugar in it. But yeah, I never did get into drinking honey in the tea. It don't taste right to me.
Well, try different kinds of honey then, and just try making one cup at a time. Experiment with it. It's just healthier. I mean, there's
Oh, I
nothing wrong with
understand.
drinking a sweet tea if you don't drink it all the time. But I would just try it. Everything's an acquired taste when you decide you want to go healthy.
I'm keeping my sugar
And
in my
trust me,
tea.
I go out to dinner once in a while. I mean, not very often.
I've cut out on the sweets and all that, so I'm gonna drink sugar in my tea.
Yeah. How much tea do you drink?
Maybe not too much. I guess maybe 2 glasses a day. It's not
Oh,
bad.
right.
I drink a lot of water.
Yeah. Well, my husband drinks 2 6-packs of Diet Pepsi plus probably about a half a gallon of sweet tea a day, and wants to know why his triglycerides are off the chart.
Well, that's got the artificial sweetener or whatever in it.
Yep.
And that's bad. Dad
So
drinks that.
He went to the hospital with a bleeding esophagus, and they told him it was from the aspartame, and he still kept drinking it. He had many seizures behind the wheel when I was driving with him, and the hospital told him it was aspartame, and he still kept drinking it.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
People are just, like I said, some people you're just not going to change.
Yeah.
No matter what you say or do, you're just not going to change it. They wait until they are sick, and end up in the hospital and say, I don't want to do this anymore. What can I do? Prevention, people, prevention.
Strap a GoPro to a chicken. Yeah, I bet that would be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be funny. I think that'd be really funny. Instead of stevia, there's this stuff called xylitol. Xylitol, I think, is the best sugar on the market, guys.
Xylitol? See, I've never heard of any of this stuff.
I think it's one of the best sugars out there because it's actually sugar, and it doesn't have anything else with it, and it's not a chemical. It's just sugar. But it is a natural sugar, so it doesn't do the same in your body that the chemical sugar. So remember, anything that you get that's white has been bleached.
Well, Pam, you have to have meat in your diet.
What?
Pam said she went 95% vegetables, only diet for a year. No weight loss, no feeling better. You have to have meat. You have to have protein.
Yeah, your metabolism, Pam, is probably off. I could help you with that.
I would advise being a carnivore.
Yeah, well, you gotta have a little bit of everything. But I had to when I was sick a couple years back with my stomach. There was hardly any. All I could eat was fresh fruits and vegetables or peanuts. I couldn't cook them. I had to steam them, and I could eat seafood. That's all I could eat. And I would get sick off of anything. I don't care what it is. Couldn't have any kind of hamburger or pork, or I couldn't have anything. So I was on this diet. At about 8 months, I had lost 30 pounds. And that 30 pounds got me to the point where, like when I had my cancer, I got down too low because I'm not big to begin with. I'm tall, but I'm not big. So when I lost that weight, I started getting really tired, and I had no energy, and I didn't want to work out, and I didn't want to eat, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do anything. I just got really, really tired, and that's a good way to get into depression. So slowly, I started adding the foods that I wasn't allowed to eat, just tiny bits of it here and there. I got my energy back. I gained my weight back, and I'm a whole bunch healthier. So here, some of the bad stuff added in made me feel better. So what was that? Psychosomatic? Was it subconscious? Was it, my imagination? I couldn't tell you. That's what I'm saying. You do this with people, it's individualized. You have to be able to work with people one-on-one to find out what works for them.
The chemistry.
There's not a one cure-all, fix-all.
Right. Yeah, I think you should start doing videos on this because it's important.
Yeah.
Maybe people ought to go on a wood booger diet. You know what I'm saying? Live like a booger.
I don't know.
I bet that'd toughen them up. Huh?
How do they live?
I guess just hide from people. I don't know. Go around beating on your neighbor's house and eating their dogs. No, that's probably not a good idea. make weird
Right.
noises.
So does anybody have any questions, or do you want any more of the different types of herbs you can take for cancer? Do you wanna keep doing stuff like this? Once in a while I can do that. Just give me a disease and we'll go for it that way.
And I put a link to your channel in the description if anyone's interested.
Yeah, they can go ahead and email me at my email address, and I'll answer them back. Or if they're on Facebook, I'll talk to them on Facebook. Hi, Sissy. Oh, my goodness. I haven't seen you in so long. Where have you been? She disappeared.
She sneak in. What's your email?
DBJF2000@cox.net.
Hang on. Spell it with letters. D.
DD.
D.
Well, these are all lowercase.
D E E D E E.
No, just the letters. E D J S
J S.
S.
Okay.
2000@cox.net.
I gotta turn my light on. At 2000 at what? Cox?
Yeah, cox.net.
COX.
Yeah.
.net. All right, got it. Bam. In the description. Nailed it. Well, all right, guys. Unless anybody's got any questions, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep, go away. Go away.
I hear the birds hollering.
Really?
Yeah, I heard a tree limb snap right before you called a while ago too. I thought, well, of course they're gonna show up now.
Cool.
But I haven't heard anything else.
Let me answer this question. Vicki, are you asking me about atrial fib? AFib? I can tell you one thing if you are asking me about it. That's vitamin K. Atrial fib, vitamin K. That's the main component right there. So, and lots of water. Lots of water. There's things you can do, and I will tell you this: CoQ10, hawthorn berry, those right there should be a daily thing.
Water's always good for you and drink lots of it. However, I wouldn't drink the tap water, and if you buy the bottled water, look on the packaging to see if it's got fluoride in it. Don't drink the fluoride.
All you gotta do is make sure it's pH balanced and there won't be any fluoride in it.
Oh, really?
But, if you buy pH balanced, there's no fluoride in it. Because it can't be pH balanced if it is. And CoQ10, start out if you're already in atrial fib at 200 milligrams twice a day. And hawthorn berries, they usually come in 500 milligrams. Take 4 of those a day. That will stop your atrial fib. My husband is no longer on his medication, and he no longer has atrial fib.
And if you get blackberries or raspberries, take them to Granny, and she makes a good cobbler out of them. I wanted to throw that in there.
I love cobbler. I have peaches in my backyard, and I make a peach cobbler.
Here in about a month, the raspberries should be coming ripe. They're already starting to berry up, and I seen today, I went out a little bit today between thunderstorms, and the blackberries are starting to come on the vine.
Oh my goodness. I don't have any up there on the property.
Yeah, around the first part of July, blackberries will be ready.
You've got so much dirt on your property, and I've got so much rock. I've seen a lot of places that it's just lush green. And
oh, yeah.
Even the undergrowth on yours is lush green compared to mine. Mine is rock.
Well, what kind of trees you got on your property?
You what?
You got a lot of pine on your property, or
yeah,
you got
there's
deciduous?
A lot of cedar, a lot of pine.
Yeah.
And so I have, I plan on this. Well, hopefully before winter hits, I plan on taking my some of my grapes. I have a grapevine in the backyard, and I plan on taking them up there and covering them, and leaving this in the one little area that I know I have dirt, and hoping that they take off. And if they take off, I'll leave them for them. But I mean, I know there's a lot of wild edibles up there, but not anything like yours. Nothing like yours. I have to go onto that other property, onto the wildlife management property in order to find some of those, because mine is, I live on the top of that foothill, literally, and it's solid rock.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you think about it, the trees we got here shed their leaves every fall, so that produces the mulch or dirt or whatever year after
Yeah.
year. Where, I guess pine trees do it too, but not as much.
Yeah.
You don't have that
All right,
topsoil.
well, they want you to go outside for the boogers. So
I am outside. I live outside in the summertime. I'm always on the back porch in the summertime.
Well, I'm just saying they want you to go booger, and we'll get off the phone here, and I'll stop yapping.
All right, well, Dee, I appreciate you calling and giving us an update on Robert and talking about this stuff because I think it's important.
Well, thank you for asking me to come on. I appreciate it.
Yep, and yeah, I appreciate you coming on. And it sucks I have to beg you to talk about stuff like this. I think you ought to do this on your channel. I really do. I think it's important, and I think people ought to look into some of this natural stuff because the drugs they pass out are poison, basically.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, they are.
They cause more problems than what they're supposed to cure, and they're not very good at curing.
Well, like I said, they're not supposed to cure anything, hon. They're only masking the problems. They just take care of the symptoms,
Exactly.
not take care of the problem. So that's why you have more problems with the drugs you take, because they're not out to cure the problem that you have.
Well, Dee, again, I appreciate you coming on, and you're welcome to come on anytime I beg you. And
You just asked.
I'll be mailing the roots out. I got them in front of the dehumidifier now, and I'm trying to dry them out as much as I can. I've already cleaned them, and hopefully you can get them ready for Robert. And
yeah, this next batch is going to go into capsules so he can take them, because I know he doesn't like to drink.
this should be enough for a couple months because, like I said, I found 2 new patches, and here in a couple months the berries should be off of them, and then I don't care to dig more. I just would rather for the berries to fall off before I dig them. That's
yeah, well,
actually
if you want to, honestly, send me some more. And, I mean, not the ones that are going to Robert, and I can put them in capsules. I can go ahead and pulverize them for you, put them in capsules, and send them back to you so you have them you can take.
I'll drink mine in the tea. I'm tough like that.
Okay. Well, you can give them to somebody if they need it, or I'm just saying you have it on hand.
Yeah. Well,
right.
I appreciate it, Dee.
See you later. Bye, guys.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Dee Sims, I asked her to come on because she knows a lot about this stuff, and I'd like to see her do some videos on it. I appreciate everybody coming in and joining tonight and asking the questions and such. Like I said, I'm sitting outside. I'm going to end this one, then we'll go live again and listen to the birds or boogers or whatever it is that's making all these noises right now. And if not, y'all have a good night, have a good weekend, and God bless.